Welcome, everybody. I'm Gina, and we're going to do some seated mindfulness, some breath work, a bit of movement. And I'll invite you first to find a really comfortable seat, and we're going to find the center of that seat. So maybe you tip from one cheek to the other cheek, just rocking back and forth, testing the balance a little bit. You can have the hands for support, or you can try to balance with the arms out to the sides or out front. So it's kind of up to you what you're thinking. And then think about pushing into the opposite foot as you tip from side to side. So push into the left foot as you tip to the right, and then push into the right foot as you tip to the left. And you can do this eyes open or eyes closed. It's really up to you. And then we'll find that center point, what feels like the middle, the halfway point between left and right, where we're really balanced side to side. And we'll do the same thing forward and back. So tipping forward and then leaning back, which might mean you might need to, come forward in your chair an inch if that feels good to you. And then tipping back, finding where is that equilibrium point where you're like, okay, I can balance. And then using the ab muscles to come back through center and coming forward. And if you want to give yourself a real challenge, the next time you lean back, see if you can lift one toe up off the ground, maybe two toes up off the ground, and balance a little bit that way, but totally optional. And so we'll do two more of those, rocking forward, rocking back, lifting the feet if you want, and then finding that balance place where your spine is nice and straight, nice and tall. And thinking about the head being over the spine. Sometimes you over recruit the neck muscles, so you might need to tuck the chin a little bit so that the head is over the spine, is over the hips. And then thinking about the knees pushing out, a little gap between them, and the feet pushing down into the ground. Lovely. And then if you like, we'll do some gentle neck rolls. So moving the neck in a way that feels really good, that doesn't overdo it, that's nice and slow. If you find a spot that feels like it's tense or tight, you can linger there for a minute. Maybe you add a little pressure with the hands and then carry on around in that direction. And when you feel like, yeah, that's pretty good in that direction, switch it up and go the other direction and see how that feels. And these movements can be really slow, or you might be a little bit faster. They can be really small, or you might want to make them a little bigger. It's up to you. What feels good in your body today, and listening to your body rather than your ego, because sometimes we want to, be the best or be the biggest or be the fastest, but there's no gold medal for that. What we're really trying to do is link what we feel, how we feel, link our body, link our breath, link our mind. And then we'll come back to center and roll the shoulders up to the ears and hold them there. Put a little bit of tension in the shoulders and then let it go, let it drop. We'll do a couple more of those, bringing in some tension, some tightness. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears, up, 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 and then let it go with a sigh. And one more on your own. And if you like, you can roll the shoulders in one direction and the other direction. Some people like to do this together. Maybe you're the kind of person who wants to do one by one. That's fine too. Up to you whether you want to keep it small or recruit the whole arms. You can get the elbows involved. You could get the whole arms involved. It's really whatever feels good in your body today. And then we'll go the other direction as well. So when you feel like you're ready to switch, and again, you can keep these small and slow, or you can make them bigger and more dynamic. It is all about your energy level and what feels right in your body, in your back, in your neck, in your arms today. And then we'll let go of that. You can wiggle it out if you like. And we'll come into the wrists. And there's a couple ways you can have open hands and rotate the wrists in one direction. You can do monster fingers, which will change the way that feels in your wrist. Or you can tuck the thumbs into your fists, and that will further change the way it feels in your wrist. This is a little bit more intense, and so it's totally up to you what feels good, and what feels good on the right might not feel good on the left. So you can also do two different things. It doesn't have, we're not as symmetric as sometimes we like to think about it. And then we'll shake it off, and come into the hips with some hip circles. So we've done all this movement separately. We went forward and backward and side to side, but now we'll just really get into it. And if you like, you can add the breath. So inhaling as you come forward and exhaling as you're behind. And again, these can be as slow or as quick as feels good in your body, but keep it smooth as possible. I'm gonna do a couple more this direction, and then we'll switch. And again, if you like to add the breath, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Lovely. And then we'll shake out the legs. Maybe you want to extend the knees, maybe one by one, if that feels good. Sometimes if you're not feeling a whole lot, sitting up nice and tall and leaning over a straight leg can help increase the stretch if you're looking for a stretch in your calf or in your hamstring. And we'll stay here on one side just for a couple breaths. Maybe point and flex the toes. And even if they don't move that much, just thinking about pointing and flexing the toes is helping your brain reestablish that nerve connection between the brain, the spinal cord, all the way down to the feet. And then we'll switch, extending out the opposite leg. And maybe this is enough and this feels great. Or maybe you sit up nice and tall and hinge over the opposite side. Maybe you feel the stretch on the back of the calf, the back of the thigh, on the hamstrings. And same thing, thinking about flexing the toes and pointing the toes. Even if they move a tiny little bit, we're still helping to reestablish that neural connection. Lovely. And if there's any other type of movement, anything that would feel good in your body, maybe a twist would feel good, or maybe there's another part of your body that we didn't get an opportunity to stretch, or maybe you want to go back to something. Actually, the wrists were really feeling some kind of way today, or the neck, the back of the head really wanted a little stretch, or maybe you're ready to be still, and that's fine too. But this is your opportunity to ask your body, where do I feel tension? And can I do something about it? Because often the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no, and we do the best we can. But sometimes we say, oh, actually, I can move my position. I can do something to relax and be a little, less stiff, less tight. And then once you feel like, all right, I've moved, I'm good, I'm ready to breathe and relax, I invite you to close your eyes. And if that's not comfortable, which I know it's not for everyone, you can simply lower your gaze, find a dristy, a point of focus, a single little spot that you can kind of make your eyes go blurry and just go inward. And we'll start, as always, with noticing the breath. It might be shallow, or it might be deep. Where do you feel it? There's 3 places that lots of people often report feeling the breath, and that's in and out through the nostrils. They might feel it on the upper lip or in the nose, or in the chest as the chest rises on the inhale and sinks on the exhale, or in the belly, using the diaphragm to help draw the air into the lungs, letting the belly rise on the inhale and sink on the exhale. And if you're not quite sure what's happening in the belly, or you don't feel like the diaphragm is being recruited, sometimes it's helpful to put the hands on the abdomen and feel the belly rise, even if it's just a little bit, and sink. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. And then if you'd like to set an intention for today, now's a good time to do that. It can be anything that you're working on, something you want to attract more of in your life, something that might be, I'm patient, I am in the present moment, I am kind to myself. We like to say these in present tense, even if we don't quite feel them yet, because the body and the mind want so much to be in sync, to be aligned, that when we send our intention in present tense, we're more likely to be able to act in a way that we can attract those things. And then send it out into the universe. And I'll invite you to extend your exhales through pursed lips, like you're blowing bubbles or blowing out birthday candles. Really recruiting the diaphragm, recruiting the abdominals, really blowing out all of the air. And when you get to the end, there's no more left. Slowly inhaling through the nose. Lightly, gently, not too forcefully. And then exhale like you're blowing bubbles or blowing out the candles. Squeezing the belly, getting every last bit of air out. And then inhaling nice and gently through the nose. And we'll do 5 more of these on your count. And if you lose track, it doesn't matter. You can start back at 5. It's just a way to keep the busy chatter of the mind at bay. We give the brain a little teaser. Okay, count backwards. And the brain likes little teasers, and it's less likely to go wandering when we give it something to focus on. So here it's the breath, in through the nose, and out through pursed lips. And then wherever you are, no matter what number you've gotten to, at the end of your next exhale, let the breathing return to normal. Let the breath breathe you. Take stock. Where do you feel it? Can you feel it in your ribs? Can you feel it in your back ribs? Can you feel the breath 360 degrees all around your torso? Can you breathe into your kidneys? This time inhaling all the way down to your toes and exhaling out the crown of your head. And continuing like that, inhaling all the way down to the tips of the toes. And exhaling out the crown of the head. And then inhaling to the ankles. And exhaling to the third eye, right in your forehead. Inhaling to the ankles. And exhaling to the third eye. Inhaling to the knees. And exhaling to the nose. Into the knees. And out to the nose. Inhaling to the hips. And exhaling to the throat center. Into the hips. And out the throat. into the navel, and out through the heart center, into the navel, and out the heart, into the solar plexus, right beneath the ribs, and out back to the third eye. Into the solar plexus, and out through the third eye. And then into the collarbones. And out through the shoulder blades. Into the collarbones. And out the shoulder blades. And then into the thighs. And out through the heels. Into the thighs. And out through the heels. And then coming back to the third eye. In and out. Right in that center. Maybe moving into the center of the skull. Breathing slowly, gently. And we're going to end with a poem today called Wild Geese by the poet Mary Oliver. And it goes like this. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to love the soft animal of your body, love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clear blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Take a minute to bring back the slightest bit of movement into your fingers, into your toes. Really notice how your hands and feet feel. Bringing a little movement into your arms. Maybe rolling the shoulders and the ankles. Maybe twisting or stretching the arms up high towards the sky or wide towards the walls. And then rub your hands together, generate a little bit of friction, a little bit of heat, covering over the eyes to blink them open, let the light come in slowly. And just sit for a moment. Maybe you give yourself a little temple massage if that feels good. As you come back into your space, and carry on with the rest of your day. Thanks for practicing with me today.